When we talk about addition of real numbers, it really isn't much different as when we practice addition of integers or any of the adding you've done your whole lives. What we're focusing on now, though, is real numbers. And again, real numbers include all of the numbers we know, all the numbers you've dealt with in your lives up until this point. Positive, negative, fractions, decimals, square roots, any of those numbers. Feel free to pause any of these slides if you'd like to write down these rules, but they're the same rules you've seen in the past. And I apologize that they turned out pretty grainy over here. But it says to add two numbers with the same sign, you add their absolute values and attach the common sign. In the past, we've thought of it maybe in terms of a number line. So if we wanted to add a -4 to a -5, we go from 0 to -4, and then we go down 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'd end up at -9. Well, another way we can think of it in terms of absolute value is just to add 4 plus 5 and get 9, and then we attach the common sign. So if you have a -4 plus a -5, the answer is a -9. Again, that's different from multiplying. With adding, think of it, if you're going on the left side of the number line and you're to -4 and you add 5 more, you're still on the negative side of the number line. Now, if they're opposite signs, it says subtract the smaller absolute value from the larger absolute value. Basically, you look at the numbers, and if you take the absolute value of each, 9's bigger. So you take the absolute value of 9 minus the absolute value of 3. So in a problem like 3 plus -9, you kind of ignore the fact that it's negative, and you just go 9 minus 3 to get 6. And then you attach the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. What that means is if you look at these two numbers here, 3 and -9, if we think, or we know, that the absolute value of -9 is bigger, obviously this is what we used here, and -9 is negative, then your answer is negative. Again, if you think of it, and I always tend to think of things on a number line, if you think of it on a number line, if I use this right here as my number line, here's 0. If I go down 9, okay, so here's -9. Okay, so if I come down to -9, whoa, sorry about that, and then I come back 3 more, 1, 2, 3, I end up right here at a -6. Okay, that's why you always take the, let me say, like the bigger number if you ignore the negative. Again, same rules we've worked with in the past. Our properties for addition, again, this should be review. Okay, commutative property. You guys know this property. It says we can add in any order. 3 plus a -2 equals -2 plus 3. The associative property says you can change the groupings. Okay, I know this is a little hard to see here, but if we had -5 plus 6, I'm sorry, the quantity -5 plus 6, then plus 2, that's going to equal -5 plus the quantity 6 plus 2. Again, -5 plus 6 is 1, 1 plus 2 is 3. Or if you go 6 plus 2 and get 8, 8 plus a -5 is 3. With the associative property, the order of the numbers doesn't change, the groupings does. Who you associate with your groups. Okay, commutative property changes order, associative property changes groupings. And then we have our identity properties. The identity property of addition says that if you add 0 to a number, it stays the same. -4 plus 0 equals -4. Okay, common sense, but there is a property that says that that's always going to be true. And then we have the property of 0, and in the past I think we've referred to it as the inverse property. It says the sum of a number and its opposite is 0. Remember we talked about opposites, one's positive, one's negative. So for example here, if you add 5 plus a -5, that's going to be 0. And that's always true. If you add 74 plus a -74, it's going to equal 0. Again, these properties should be review. Just one example to look at here. It says a child care center has the following monthly results after comparing income and expenses. Add the monthly profit and losses to find the overall profit or loss during the 4-month period. Okay, basically, if you think about this, this is a positive $7,982.43. So that's where they had a profit. But in April, since it's negative, that was a loss. Okay, so just kind of understand what the positives and negatives mean. They lost again in May, but then in June they had a big profit. So the question wants to know is, what is the overall profit or loss? Okay, so all we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is basically add these together. Now, you could totally add them just like you did back in elementary school, but we know we probably are going to type those numbers into our calculator. Piece of advice, please be careful that you put the negatives in, otherwise you will get the wrong answer. And if you type this all into a calculator, you will get the number $8,985.90. The question I wonder right now, though, is that a profit or a loss? Well, since it's a positive number, that means they made an $8,985.90 profit. Again, adding real numbers is just like the rules are the same for whenever we've done adding in the past.